Back here on 120 Sports with Dave Ross in the house, and we are talking college hoops. Number 16, Creighton at Georgetown. 16th ranked Blue Jays visiting Georgetown, and the Hoyas were able to have their way in this one. Let's take a look at how it went down. LJ Peak had a team-high 20 points for Georgetown, who led by 12 at halftime. The bright spot for Creighton in this one, freshman center Justin Patton, who finished with 20 points and 7 boards. The loss is Creighton's second consecutive, drops them to 18-3, while the Hoyas improved to 11-10. Here's Greg McDermott after the game.
You know, obviously we're fighting a lot of adversity right now, and we'll find out a lot about ourselves in the coming week or so. You know, we've lost a good player. We've got some guys hurt. We've got some guys fighting the flu. But we have to be able to kind of corral that adversity and try to use it to our advantage, and understand when you're not at full strength, your execution needs to be at another level.
Greg McDermott mentioning they miss a big player. Maurice Watson Jr. is that player. Are they going to be able to overcome the loss of Maurice Watson Jr.?
No. And you can almost see it in the body language just during the game as he's coaching. Like, what am I going to do? Like, when I lose my floor general, I lose my guy, and you don't have Watson, and you're 0-2 without him already. And you mentioned you get a pretty good night from a freshman, keyword freshman. So you're going to have to rely on kids you had not been relying on in the past. When you lose at Georgetown, sorry, John Thompson III, this is not your typical Georgetown team. 11-10, as you mentioned, this is not a tournament team. And Creighton, you go there and get blasted on the road. That's not a good look. The committee looks at those things. You're going to drop outside of the top 20 this week. And this sucks. And I hate this when you lose a key member. You are a top 10 team in the country. And then you lose one player, your best player.
One very important player.
You could slide all the way out of the top 25 very quickly. And because it's only late January, if this free fall continues for Greg McDermott and company, they could be a bubble team sooner rather than later. We're talking about a top 10 team going all the way potentially to being a bubble team if they can't right the ship relatively quickly in the Big East. So, no, I don't think they do. And again, McDermott said, and I love this soundbite, by the way, how calm he was and how kind of pointed and directional he was to his kids, saying, look, we're just not as talented as we were a week ago, so therefore our execution has to be flawless. And if it's not, we're going to get blown out by the likes of Georgetown, who's a 500 team at best coming into that game, and we're not going to be competitive. So they weren't competitive tonight, and they haven't been. They're 0-2 so far without Watson. How do you fill those shoes? Good luck. That's the task right now for Greg. I'm sure he wishes his son Doug could come back and play a little bit more, but that's not going to happen.
Dougie McBuckets?
Yeah, it'd be nice to get him back at Creighton.